Hey guys, how are you today? Quick rant before we dive into today's chaos. As some of you might have noticed, YouTube's algorithm has decided I'm not special anymore. Shocking, I know. So now if you don't like, comment, or do a little backflip in the algorithm's honor, this video might just vanish into the void, never to be seen again. Seriously though, even a hi or "this is wild" in the comments helps way more than you think. It tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this channel. Maybe don't hide it from everyone. That can really help push my videos out to a wider audience, not just to my subscribers. So if you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Now grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the drama. You won't want to miss this one. I was strictly a lurker, so I don't know what I am doing here, but I'm going to take whatever help I can get right now. I just got back from the hospital today, after I had my baby daughter 3 days ago. I am back home and have a friend who is staying with me to help. I have already vented to her, so she knows what is going on. She agrees with me and says that I am in the right, but her words are drowning in the barrage of abusive texts I am receiving from my mother-in-law, Jenny, 55 female. She is going on and on about how I am cruel for not letting her meet my daughter because she didn't allow me to steal her daughter's spotlight. The thing is, I went into labor at my sister-in-law's wedding. My husband's half-sister, or my sister-in-law Rebecca, 25 female, had just wrapped up the ceremony and was taking pictures when I noticed that I had started to bleed. Technically, I wasn't in labor, but there had been some complications, due to which the baby came early. I suddenly started bleeding and feeling a lot of pain, so I immediately knew that I needed to be at the hospital. I called Jenny to help, because I wasn't in a condition to drive myself, and I was pretty much panicking when I saw the blood. I thought that Jenny would help me, or at least arrange something for me. But she just freaked out and locked me in a bathroom while pretending to go and get help. In reality, she locked me in because she didn't want me stealing the spotlight at Rebecca's wedding. Yes, that's exactly what she did, and why she did it. By God's grace, I got help before it was too late. And now both me and my baby are fine. As soon as I was stable, Jenny's actions began to make me very angry. So, I did not let her meet the baby and told her that she isn't welcome at the hospital or my home. Jenny is now going around telling everyone who will hear that I am being unfair and entitled. I don't know what to do. Who would have thought that I would be here on Reddit just a few days postpartum? But here I am back home with a fresh baby and a mountain of problems. I am going crazy here, and people who are taking my side are mostly my family members. So, I have come here to see what you guys have to say about this situation. I know that you will need some background on what happened, so I will start from the beginning. This might be a long post, so please be patient. I will try to be as concise as possible, but given the fact that I am feeling lonely and need to vent, this might get really long. You guys already know that I just had a baby. I had been really looking forward to this time, because this is my first pregnancy. I will say that most of my pregnancy went without a hitch, except for some minor problems I faced from my mother-in-law and sister-in-law Rebecca. Rebecca actually got engaged a month before I found out I was pregnant. She had been looking up dates and making wedding plans when I announced my pregnancy. To be very honest, my husband and I had known about my pregnancy a week after Rebecca had announced her engagement. My sister-in-law always had a problem sharing attention and can be very mean about it, so we didn't announce anything immediately. Also, I kind of think that she deserved to be in the spotlight for a while before someone else comes with more good news. So, my husband and I waited for a month before making the announcement. Everyone was pretty happy about it except Rebecca and Jenny. I mean, they weren't just unhappy. They were outright devastated when I announced the news. At least Rebecca had been devastated. She literally ran out of the room crying after I announced the pregnancy. Jenny, of course, looked extra concerned and ran after her daughter. The people around the table had looked super awkward, and immediately the mood dipped. My husband and I just quietly waited for the duo to come back because there was nothing else left to do. When Rebecca and Jenny finally came back, they looked annoyed and gave me some dirty looks. Jenny then said in a serious voice that Rebecca had some news to share, but hadn't expected someone else to use the family meeting for their own announcement. It was just plain mean and condescending. Jenny then declared that since Rebecca no longer wanted to make her own announcement, she was going to do it for her daughter. It turns out that Rebecca had selected a wedding date that would be a month before my due date. Everyone congratulated Rebecca and started making plans. So, it's not like everyone just overlooked her announcement. Rebecca just overreacted for no reason. She is dramatic and loves attention, which is exactly why we tread with caution when she is present. After the party, I received 2 scathing messages from Rebecca and Jenny. They criticized me for not checking with Rebecca about whether she had some news to share. Their argument was that I knew Rebecca was in the process of planning a lifetime event, so I should have asked her for clearance before making an announcement. And I was an idiot because I stole her limelight by announcing my pregnancy out of the blue. I could have fought and argued with them, but I didn't. I know better than to engage with them more than necessary. I have learned from past experiences that rocking the boat is not a good idea when it comes to Jenny and Rebecca. Honestly, if Jenny hadn't pulled that ridiculous stunt at the wedding, I may not have stood up to her like this. God, I am still so mad. I want to be violent. Jenny and Rebecca have always been indifferent, if not mean to me. They are very self-centered people. Rebecca actually gets her entitlement from her mother. Jenny literally encourages her to be entitled and constantly tells her that she deserves the best and everyone should cater to her needs. They were super pissed that people had 2 things to look forward to instead of 1. During the entire pregnancy, Jenny and Rebecca have been somewhat cold towards me, and even my husband. They were super uninterested and always talked only about the wedding. When someone would ask me about the baby, they would immediately steer the conversation to the upcoming wedding. Frankly speaking, I was more than okay with them being uninterested. They are difficult to deal with anyway, so having them show less enthusiasm was good. But it annoyed me to see Jenny so uninterested in her own grandchild. I totally get the fact that they aren't big fans when it comes to me, but I think they should have been a little more interested in my daughter, since she is also their own blood. While I was just slightly annoyed, my husband was straight up pissed off and even disappointed with his mother and sister. He is sort of used to their entitled behavior, so he isn't easily fazed by their nonsense. We had been thinking about distancing ourselves from his family long before this thing happened. So, I know that cutting them off isn't an issue, and that's why I was so confident about keeping Jenny and Rebecca away from my child. Anyway, after Jenny got busy helping her daughter achieve her elaborate plans for the wedding, my husband and I were doing our own thing and staying away. Rebecca didn't need my help and wouldn't have asked anyway because she was mad at me. Family dinners were awkward because Jenny and Rebecca would often make digs at me about stealing the spotlight. There were some comments about me gaining weight and looking bad in the wedding photos. I ignored all of that just to keep the peace. Like I said, no one, including me, wants to fight or argue with them. I held my tongue throughout my pregnancy and even had to have a secret baby shower because Rebecca started bawling when someone asked me about it. So I did a small thing with my friends and some of my family, while his side just sent gifts. I also kept the baby photos private because I didn't want to trigger or piss off Rebecca and her mother. I really did everything possible to make sure I don't steal the spotlight. But it just wasn't enough for Jenny and Rebecca. I knew for a fact that I wouldn't be treated well at the wedding. I am sure Jenny and Rebecca would have uninvited me if possible. But people would talk, and it would steal the spotlight from Rebecca again, so they invited me begrudgingly. These aren't theories. It's literally what Rebecca and Jenny told other family members. My husband had a last-minute thing at work, which is why he couldn't attend the wedding with me. It sort of became an obligation for me to attend as well. So I was in a wedding where the bride and the mother didn't want me, but I couldn't pull out because it was my sister-in-law who was getting married. Anyways, the plan was very simple. I was going to smile and grin through the entire wedding, just so Jenny and Rebecca wouldn't feel uncomfortable with me, and people won't ask too many questions. I already knew that my big pregnant belly was a problem for Rebecca and Jenny, because it was sure to attract attention. Again, all of this has been heard secondhand from some cousins. But it isn't all that far-fetched now that I think about it. I tried to be as inconspicuous as possible, so that Rebecca wouldn't be mad at me. It's just out of sheer luck that I started to bleed after the ceremony. I can't explain to you guys just how scared and panicked I was. I just knew that I had to do something immediately, or my baby would be in trouble. Jenny was the first one I spotted, so I asked her for help. Despite the situation, I didn't want to cause a scene, and just asked Jenny to call an ambulance or take me to the hospital. Jenny acted shocked, and put up this fake show of reassuring me that she would go get help. She told me to stay in the bathroom so that the mess could be contained. By that point, the blood was oozing through my dress and trailing down my legs. So I did what she told me. As soon as I walked into the bathroom, I heard Jenny lock the door. I immediately asked her what she was doing, and she replied something along the lines of how she was protecting her daughter and saving her from her big day being ruined by me. I just remember panicking even more and screaming through the door to let me out. But Jenny just walked away and said that she will come get me once the happy couple leaves for their new home. I think I was in the bathroom for a good half hour before a cousin came looking for me. She was calling out my name because she couldn't find me anywhere. She later told me that she got concerned when she didn't see me and was worried that I was having some problem. Thank God for her intuition, because it absolutely saved my life. She called her husband, and the two of them drove me to the hospital. I passed out in the car, so I don't know much about what happened later. When I woke up, the baby was already there. I had an emergency C-section and came close to dying. I won't get into the details of that because I still haven't accepted it completely. The cousin, her husband, and a friend of mine whom I managed to call before passing out were there for me. It was after I came to my senses that I decided not to allow Jenny around my baby. I was and still am extremely mad at what she did. She could have gotten me and my child killed. This woman is just straight up delusional. I had instructed my friends not to allow Jenny to see my child. Thankfully, she was in no hurry because she was too busy making sure her daughter had the perfect wedding. She did show up the day after, but was denied entry. Since that day, she has been constantly harassing me and telling me that she deserves to see her grandchild, and I am being cruel by not allowing it to happen. She tried to make a scene at the hospital when she was denied entry into my room, but I didn't have to deal with it because my friend swiftly called security and got her thrown out. The nurses at the hospital were also awesome and completely no nonsense, so that was a plus for me. But now that I am back home, I have to deal with the fallout. Jenny has absolutely lost her mind and is saying some vile stuff to me and about me. She showed up at the house, but my secretary, aka my friend, threatened to call the cops if she didn't leave. I have muted Jenny on my phone, but unfortunately the messages keep coming in. Blocking her isn't an option right now, especially since I am second-guessing my decision. So, I have come here to ask you guys if I did the right thing. I really didn't plan on doing this, but the fact that my daughter and I could have lost our lives because of Jenny isn't sitting right with me. But Jenny's onslaught of accusations is making me rethink everything now. Please tell me what you guys think of my situation. Edit. Oh boy, you guys have a hell lot of questions. I am going to answer a few here. Some of you have questioned where my husband was and why he wasn't with me so close to my due date. Well, he didn't just abandon me or anything. It's not deep, guys. He had a major thing at work that he simply couldn't miss. So he had to fly out to another country that's pretty much on the other end of the map. He tried to be back when he heard about my labor, but couldn't because the city he was in was hit by a pretty bad hurricane that suspended flight operations. Driving down wasn't an option, and I wouldn't have asked him to hit the roads in that bad weather anyway. So please keep the judgments about my husband away from my post. He is flying back today because he had some commitments, along with the flight complications that kept him away. I assured him that I was fine as soon as I could get hold of him. He was incredibly angry when he heard what happened. I will admit that he doesn't know all the details about what went down at the wedding. He only knows that Jenny didn't drive me to the hospital when I started bleeding and had expected me to find someone else for help. That's the story I told him and told everyone else to tell him. He is stuck in another state with a poor mobile network because of the hurricane. So, I don't want him to panic even more with the details of what happened. I will tell him everything as soon as he is able to come home to us. Also, many of you have been pretty confused about why the extended family is against me. Well, I don't really think that the extended family thinks I am in the wrong. None of them told me that what Jenny did was right. It's just that they don't want drama and are afraid of any fallout from Jenny and her daughter. I already told you that Jenny molded her daughter to become a mini-me, and the two of them can go to great lengths to satisfy their ego. You already read an example of that. What happened to me should be a clear indicator of just how entitled and crazy Jenny can be. If anyone, I mean literally anyone in the family does something to offend Rebecca, Jenny jumps in and creates havoc along with her daughter. I am not the only one who lets things go to keep the peace. Everyone else in the family does it too. I guess that's why they are telling me to let go of things and keep the peace. My theory is that Jenny and maybe even Rebecca are biting their ears off about the great injustice I am inflicting on them. They are probably tired of the drama and want this to end. Now, let's talk about why I am second-guessing everything, mostly because I know I am hormonal and have been acting on impulse. It wasn't a very thought-out decision. I am not known for being impulsive, so this is new for me. That's why I'm having trouble understanding if I did the right thing. Update 1. I can't believe that this post blew up. I was expecting a few comments and some opinions, but oh boy, you guys went mad. I am not complaining though because all the supportive comments really made my day. I also appreciate the congratulatory texts you sent me. Your input was really valuable for me because it let me rest easy. That's why I decided to continue posting updates here. This is an update of sorts, but mostly a post to thank you guys for your support. I had been going crazy trying to find some validation, and I was convinced that my friend is taking my side because she loves me, so she is biased. Your comments really made me realize that I have absolutely no reason to doubt my decision and judgment. I will admit that whatever decision I had taken was made in the heat of the moment and out of sheer anger. I am also aware that I am extremely hormonal, so I needed some neutral opinion. I am now thoroughly convinced that I am in the right. But despite the good advice and judgments, I am not happy with the accusatory comments calling my husband a deadbeat and spineless man because he wasn't present at the birth of our child and isn't dealing with his mom by himself. I don't know if you guys didn't read the edit or something because I already mentioned why my husband wasn't present with me during and after the birth of our child. He had a work emergency to take care of before going on paternity leave. And he just wanted to tie up the loose ends at work so that he wouldn't have to take calls or work from home the first few weeks after the baby arrives. He isn't trying to leave me alone with the baby or make excuses to avoid responsibility. I know what his job is like, and this was a joint decision taken by us. He was actually supposed to come home a day after Rebecca's wedding and even tried to come back early when I went into labor. Unfortunately, he was stuck because of weather problems. So he hadn't planned on leaving me alone to deal with this mess. He had been anxious and constantly asking my friend to get updates without disturbing me. He was already going crazy, especially since the network was bad because of the hurricane, so communication was sort of limited no matter how hard we tried. I didn't want him to panic or fly into a rage, so I told my friend not to tell him everything. My poor husband is already back home and still absolutely devastated to have missed the birth and not be there for us. He has been apologizing for not being there, even when it wasn't his fault. I know that you guys wanted me to tell him the truth about Jenny straight away, but I would like to wait a little. He needs some time to calm down and see for himself that me and the baby are completely safe. Maybe after 2 or 3 days, I will tell him what's going on. Jenny is still texting and calling, and I am still ignoring her. Rebecca is still on her honeymoon, so silence from that end, which I appreciate. For now, I am just going to have some private bonding time with my daughter and my husband, so please understand why I don't want to ruin the fun right now. Mentally, I am feeling a little better now that my husband is here. Also, like I said, your beautiful comments and DMs really helped me a lot. I know that this mess isn't over, but I think I am ready to wreak havoc if Jenny tries some crap. If you guys are interested, I will make an update once I have the talk with my husband. Update 2. I came back here faster than I thought. It's currently 4 a.m., and I just put my daughter back to sleep after she woke up for her nightly feeding. I am not going to fall asleep anytime soon, so this was the best time to make an update. It has been a very eventful day and a lot of things have happened. So yesterday, Rebecca came back from her honeymoon. She probably listened to the woes of her mother and was furious on her behalf. The mother-daughter duo decided to come to my house and make a scene. Unfortunately for them, they hadn't realized that my husband was already back home. Ever since he came home, he has taken over all the chores and hired a nanny to help me. All I am doing right now is resting and taking care of the baby when necessary. My husband, Adam, 32 male, was completely freaked out when he heard the details of what I had to go through. Well, I didn't tell him about his mother, but my friend did brief him about the complications and how I nearly lost my life because of the blood loss. My poor husband just couldn't stomach all this. He has been constantly fussing over me and our daughter from time to time. He has been a little overly emotional as well, so we didn't think telling him about Jenny would be a good idea. I was stalling and waiting for Adam to be in a better headspace, but turns out the universe had other plans. Jenny and Rebecca showed up at the wrong time and said the wrong things, which landed them in deep trouble. They were pretty surprised when Adam opened the door, but didn't let them in. He was already pissed off at his mom for not driving me to the hospital. Seeing his angry expression, Rebecca and Jenny straight up started to defend themselves. While none of this was actually planned or approved by Rebecca, she fully supported her mother in what she did. Jenny had acted on impulse and did what she thought would be best for her daughter. So she has no remorse for what she did. Jenny and Rebecca were repeatedly attacking me and defending Jenny's actions to my husband while he listened in horror. He said nothing and just listened for some time. Then he turned to me and asked, "Is this true? Is this what really happened?" He didn't even need me to confirm because he knew it when he saw my face. What happened next was absolutely the best that could have happened. Adam absolutely tore into his mother and sister. When I tell you he was mad, I absolutely mean it. Rebecca and Jenny hadn't expected such a big outburst because they were sure that I had already told Adam what happened. And he didn't think it was a big deal since he didn't come screaming at their door. They found out the hard way that they just dug their own grave. I was also spared from absolutely crushing my husband by telling him the truth myself. It was glorious to see Adam absolutely verbally destroy the two of them. I had to go inside to stay with our daughter because he was being super loud while yelling at Jenny and Rebecca. So, unfortunately, I only saw a glimpse of what happened. After a while, he came back and kept apologizing to me. He said that he is never going to allow his mother and sister into our lives again, and that he was done with them. I know that my husband has been emotional just like me, so we haven't taken a concrete decision on that front, but we are pretty sure that's what we will do. Some of you have been asking why it is so difficult for me to cut Jenny off from our life. Well, I have absolutely no contact with my own family because they were physically and mentally abusive. I spent the last of my teens in foster care. I don't plan on ever reconnecting with my own parents or family, so my husband's family is the only one my daughter would know. I guess I didn't want her to grow up without a grandma. But then again, a grandma who cares so little about her and her mom's life can't really be a good grandma. So, no love lost there. My husband is currently dealing with every other family member who has been siding with Jenny and Rebecca. He has fully taken over this task of silencing family members who think we are overreacting and shouldn't keep our daughter away from Jenny. As of now, everyone who doesn't want to respect our wishes and just wants us to let things go has been denied access to us and our daughter. I am not sure if they will change their stance, but we will reconsider their position in our lives. But it won't be easy because I don't want people to think they can pressure us to look the other way whenever they want. So that's where things are at right now. I am sorry if this update also wasn't exciting or satisfying for you guys. As you know, I have a newborn and a husband on the verge of losing his mind. My health is also not completely at 100%, so I don't want to waste too much energy on toxic stuff unnecessarily. I am trying to stand up for myself and my family, and I have my husband on my side now, so that's enough progress for me. Update 3. Hi. I don't know if you guys wanted another update because I only received a few messages asking for one. I am sorry if I disappointed you guys with my lack of action. Like I said, I was dealing with too many things at once, so I didn't want to take up heavy decisions without a little break to think. I realized pretty quickly that having a brand new baby means there will rarely be time to rest. Even with a nanny, I was constantly running around doing stuff while also making sure not to rip my stitches from the C-section. I sat down with Adam and discussed our steps moving forward. Both of us agreed that Jenny has done something truly awful, and it's something we cannot forgive or forget. Rebecca didn't see anything wrong with her mother's actions, so she is just as bad. So we collectively decided that we would go no contact with the two of them. When they were informed about it, they absolutely lost their mind. They tried to recruit family members to pressure us and change our minds. However, every family member who told us to forgive Jenny and Rebecca was swiftly blocked before receiving a message that said, "We don't want them in our lives anymore." For some reason, people started changing their tune and backed off. We even got a bunch of apologies from them. But Rebecca and Jenny didn't back down. Unfortunately for them, no one was listening to them anymore. Finally, a week ago, Rebecca's new husband reached out to Adam and asked to know exactly what was going on. Apparently, Rebecca had been going on and on about how my husband and I are turning the family against her. Once Adam told Rebecca's husband what had happened and how Rebecca supported it, he lost his crap. The two of them are now getting their marriage annulled. Want to know why? Because Rebecca apparently told Adam that his very pregnant sister would have received the same treatment if she were in my place. That pretty much ended her brand new marriage. Now Jenny and Rebecca are back together, talking about how everyone is cutting them off for no reason. They have tried to reach out and harass us, but Adam threatened legal action if they continued. So, for now, they have stopped. Looks like karma did come for them. They are now being isolated from the family, because everyone has realized that it is indeed possible to stand up to Jenny and Rebecca. Some of them are taking this opportunity to cut them off, because of their own grudges against the duo. So, I would say that Jenny and Rebecca didn't get off all that easily. What's more important is that I have gotten rid of that toxic presence in my life that has been bothering me for a long time. I am going to count that as a big win. That's the final update. So, I'm going to sign off and probably delete this post after a week. Not the a-hole, and honestly, this is one of the most terrifying things I've read here. OP's mother-in-law didn't just protect a spotlight, she committed a literal crime. Locking a bleeding pregnant woman in a bathroom is false imprisonment and could have killed OP and her baby. This isn't family drama, this is life-threatening abuse. OP was 100% right to keep her away from her child. And now let's hear community's opinion. I need to be very clear. Hormones did not make you overreact. Survival instincts did. Anyone telling you to keep the peace after someone endangered your life is prioritizing comfort over safety. Your daughter is not a peace offering, and Jenny lost all grandmother privileges the moment she chose a wedding over human lives. The fact that Rebecca openly supported what her mother did tells you everything. This wasn't a mistake, panic, or misunderstanding. It was deliberate. If your cousin hadn't followed her gut, this would be a very different post. Going no contact isn't punishment, it's protection. You're breaking a cycle that the rest of the family was too scared to confront. Your husband's reaction in the updates is exactly what should have happened, and I'm glad he finally saw the truth with his own eyes. Jenny and Rebecca imploded because consequences finally caught up to them. Losing access to your child is the least they deserve. Focus on healing, bonding with your baby, and enjoying the peace you fought hard to earn.